Welcome everybody. So I want to show you how to add on the last few details like the eyes, the mouth, the little, if you need these little guys, the little hooves and stuff. I want to show you how to add that kind of stuff on and some wool. So for the face, since these are like little dots and stuff, it's really easy to kind of add those in. You just got to decide whether you want to make them 3D or whether you want to make them carved in. Now, if you're going for carved in, I like the back end of this pencil tool, or literally like the eraser of a pencil. This one's a little bit smaller though, so I think the size works a little bit better. And basically, I'm just pushing the eye in. Now, that one I went a little bit deep, so that would, I mean, it's totally fine. This one I went a little less deep. That's totally fine too, either way. And then once it's kind of a little bit more firm, like you can add in the carved lines and details, but just try to keep your clay boogies out or just clean them out if you get them. So like for mouths and stuff, I have a tendency to want to carve those in on these type of projects versus adding on a big chunk, right? Because like if you try to do a face where it's like a smile like this has a different chunky feel than this little cute bit right here, okay? So you're just gonna kind of lightly add in your design. And if you're like, oh my gosh, it's not the way I want it to be, it's still squishy enough where you can just blend it out and do it again, right? So spend a little bit of time making it look the way you want it to look. Now for stuff like this, for like the teeth on the shark, so what I have a tendency to do on that kind of stuff is I will start off by lightly tracing kind of what I want it to look like, so I can kind of see like, okay, maybe I want to make it a little bit more over this way, right? Because I know I'm going to end up carving on this anyway, so if I have to blend out a little bit, it's no big deal. But I'm going to kind of draw in what I think I want first with my needle tool and try to do it relatively lightly. And then once you have that, oh, I gotta add in my teeth. So keep your tool clean. That's really, really helpful, okay? And once you have like all the stuff that you want kind of in there, if you want the teeth to look like they're in front of that red part, if you take your little loop tool and scoop out around the teeth, and again, just keep your tool clean. Sometimes sticking it on a wet piece of clay so you can pull a little bit more off is good, but you're just going to kind of clean out around the teeth. And then once you've got that whole area kind of cleaned out a little bit, just like on the wolf, then you would just smooth it, right? But that makes it look a little bit more 3D, and it's also a little bit easier to glaze. So drawing the lines and then carving that area out, okay? The last thing that I want to show you, if you've got something puffy like that, like a llama or a sheep or something, if you make a bunch of these little spheres, and then you use the shape of your finger, if I go around like this, it'll already kind of create a little dome for me, right? Use your hand shape to your advantage. Okay, so make a bunch of these, and when you have like, you know, a decent number, then score the area that you are gonna cover in those. Add a little bit of magic water. If you use a smaller brush, it'll be a little bit easier to control it better. And then, you know, do score the back of these, but then you can just stick it on. And as long as you're keeping your fingers clean and these are fresh, you can kind of squeeze them in and fill in some of those spaces. If you do still have little spaces where you can see the slipping and scoring, marks in there. If you have a tiny brush, and you just kind of like, don't add any water to this brush, but if you have a tiny brush and you just kind of like flop it around in there, you can get rid of some of those marks pretty easy, okay? And once you have those on there, then in glaze, it'll look just like your little sticker. Oh, and the last one, if you wanted to do like hooves, so you can see like these almost look like they're a separate piece that got added on, but it wasn't actually a separate piece that got added on. All I did was I carved a line like this all the way around, okay? And then I took my tool and I blended up away from that line, okay? So I just blended up and away from that line. Once I did that, that creates this little ridge right here. And that little ridge, like once you get it carved back a little bit, that's what really makes it look like the hoof, okay? All right, thanks everybody.